Hi, everybody. This is Shannon Price, the Mind Mechanic, and I'm here to help you navigate your life every day. Welcome, and thanks for tuning in to today's podcast. This podcast is brought to you free, and it is to help you learn how to navigate your life mentally, emotionally, and physically, and to bring an overall wellness to you that you maybe didn't even know you were missing. So hopefully you'll feel that way when you're done with this podcast and listening to the other ones. Thank you again to everyone who has been listening and leaving us 5-star ratings and great reviews. So please go to Apple Music Podcast, Spotify, YouTube, wherever you listen, and leave us a 5-star rating and a short written review. I'm trying really hard to get up to 500 ratings, and I would really appreciate it if you can help me out. So once again, if you feel that you like these podcasts and you feel that they're helping you and they're interesting, I would love to hear from you. As you know, my goal in life is to change the way people see and treat themselves, to educate, empower, and evolve. You and I have one thing in common. We want to constantly improve our lives and be the best version of ourselves. But many people have lived their lives pretty much the same way for a really long time, stuck. But you're capable of making the biggest transformation of your life. You are capable of becoming unstuck. And if you consider all of those ways that we have made ourselves feel stuck, becoming unstuck is just a change in perspective, a change of mindset, and behavior. So think about this. How would it feel if you could not find those feelings of anxiety or stress or fear any longer because you know how to control it and take charge? I know how to help you, and I know how to help you help yourself. Today's topic is an insight into emotional eating. This is a subject that I see many clients for, and we can solve the issue, turning this negative behavior into something positive. Emotional or boredom eating can be a direct result of really not being conscious of what or why you're even eating. You may have heard this called unconscious eating. So unconscious eating is when you're done with your meal and you just continue to pick at it, whatever's left on your plate, slowly eating the remaining portion of the food that you intended to leave behind. Can you relate? Me too, yeah. It can also be putting like peanuts or crackers or whatever food is there in front of you into your mouth just because it's in front of you. But real emotional and boredom eating is so much more than that. It's so much more than just unconsciously grabbing what's out there in front of you at home, at a party or a wedding or, holidays, whatever event. So many people believe that the solution is to try to remain mindful of what and when you're eating, which is not always as smooth and easy as it sounds. So if you're like me, you used to try this over and over again, and maybe you always end up right back where you started. So are you confused about all the crazy information out there about how to eat, what to eat, when to eat, and what the heck ever? What if there was a permanent solution, a pain-free, easy solution for a long term, for the rest of your life? I've often asked people what it is that they think might happen if they did not binge or overeat. The most common answer is this, and tell me if you get this, if you can relate to this. The most common answer is, quote, I would have nothing to look forward to. And at the end of a long, hectic day, a big bowl of ice cream or a bag of chips and some mindless TV can be especially effective in a temporary solution to soothing our exhausted, hardworking selves. So let me give you something to think about. This is much like rewarding a child with candy or another type of, quote, pacifier because you think you deserve it. Then you don't feel so good about it. And breaking these habits can be really tough, sort of like kicking a drug or alcohol habit. So as adults living in our conscious world, we found ways to distract ourselves from difficult feelings. And sometimes that's not always in our best interest. So when we experience life's inevitable yucky feelings, we can really be susceptible to emotional eating. One of those feelings maybe is body hate and shame. It really may sound counterproductive and counterintuitive, but it's really true. Hating your own body is one of the biggest factors in emotional eating. Negativity, shame, and hatred rarely inspire people to make long-lasting good changes, especially when it comes to our own bodies or our sense of self. When you don't feel good about yourself and you blame your body for it, soothing yourself with emotional and boredom eating comes pretty easy. And this is when the body hate begins to destroy your relationship with yourself. The relationship you have with your body cuts to the very core of your being. And I know you can relate to this. I know you can. We've all been there. So this might be the topic of your most negative pattern. But that subject is never done until you decide to make the change. You know, there's a great quote that says, "You are not a mistake. You are not a problem to be solved, but you won't discover this until you are willing to stop banging your head against the wall of shame and caging and fearing yourself." That's a quote from Janine Roth, and I could not agree more with that quote. So, emotional eating is a powerful and effective way to find just, temporary relief from many of life's challenges. And if it didn't work so well, no one would do it. Right? It works well. Emotional eating is a way to suppress or soothe negative emotions like stress, fear, anger, boredom, procrastination, sadness, loneliness. Major life events, or more commonly, the hassles of daily life, can just trigger emotions that lead to this type of eating, the inability to tolerate difficult feelings. So in our culture, we actually learn from a young age to avoid things that make us feel bad. Unfortunately, the ways we have found to distract ourselves and the way we've learned to distract ourselves from difficult feelings are not always the best in our interests, right? So if you think of this analogy, giving a baby a piece of candy or a lollipop, whatever, to soothe their crying or to make them happy when they're not. A crying baby is just your subconscious crying out for that addictive stimulus. You are the mother. Yes, it is very difficult not to go to your baby when that baby's crying. But if you're thinking about it, you don't. You don't go there. You don't because you're the adult and you know what's better for your baby, because sometimes they're just going to cry. We'll live longer and happier if the baby learns to stop crying with no stimulus. Now, I'm not saying don't go check on your child when your child's crying, but you know as well as I do that sometimes babies just cry. And they just want you to pick them up, and they just want you to do this and do that. And if you stop doing some of those things, that crying will most likely stop. So if we find ourselves doing things for comfort or to simply ease our negative feelings and give us a brief moment of pleasure, like eating chocolate, eating ice cream, even smoking, even having some alcohol, wine, all of that, more often than not, it's because we have been programmed from an early age to regard those brief moments as a short solution to our problems. And that's what it is. It's a really temporary solution to a problem, and you don't feel so great after you do it. So when we're very young and we have no really long-term goals or aims, and we're only concerned with feeling happy right now, as an infant, those problems were, I feel bad, give me something to make me feel better. So the solution was always a toy, a hug, a treat, or maybe a pacifier. So unfortunately, the solutions of that child no longer can solve or serve the problems of the adult. Indulging an addiction provides just a few moments of pleasure, often replaced by guilt, like I said. And the thing that's stressing us out remains no nearer to a solution than before. Happiness is not about where we are, who we are with, or how much we have. That's all meaningless. Temporary happiness is what most people pursue. My goal for you is to find lifelong happiness and wellness. And the cycle of emotional and boredom eating is a pattern. It is just a pattern of behavior that you learned when you were young. And the system that I practice with my clients is set up to do just that. Stop that negative pattern. Replace it with something positive. So if you are someone who eats due to stress, anxiety, boredom, your emotions, just let me know. Get the help you need. Stop that cycle for good. And then watch your mental and physical health upgrade for the long run, because that's exactly what happens for everyone. And this is a short podcast, something for you to think about. I want you to contact me at my website, www.sp, my initials, SP, themindmechanic.com. You can also find me at my email address, Controlfitness. It's 2 words, control and fitness. Just run them together, make it 1 word, at AOL.com. And I would love to have you on my email list so you never miss a beat. You can drop me a message or text me at 319-621-7421. Text me or message me with your email to be on that email list. And I promise you won't regret that. You can find all of my podcasts on your favorite listening sites. You can find them on Apple. You can find them on Spotify, Google Podcasts, Amazon, anywhere you listen to podcasts. I have a YouTube channel, and my podcasts are all there. You just type in Shannon Price, the Mind Mechanic, and that YouTube channel will pop up. Hit subscribe, and you'll get all of the podcasts. And please don't forget to leave me a review. Check 5 stars, and don't forget you can find everything also on my website. Again, www.spthemindmechanic.com. And on that website, you can download free ebooks and a gratitude journal for a lifetime of navigating your life. So thank you so much for tuning in today. And I'll see you next time. Thank you. Bye, guys.